Hi, I am Zaheen. Today we are going to see what is environment and what are the fundamental concepts of environmental geography. So without wasting your time, I am going to cover these aspects of the environmental geography. Let us first understand what is environment. For a common man, environment means just surrounding, circumstances or conditions that influence an organism or group of organism. But a detailed and careful analysis of the term environment reveals it is more than that. Like for example, our surroundings are composed of physical matter, biotic components, and the socio-cultural environment in which we live. All this influence the growth and development of the organism. So what we get out of it? Let us try to understand. The environment means the sum total external condition which influence the behavior and growth of living organisms. Now let us come to the scale of the environment with the help of these pictures and the videos. At the smallest level, we have the atoms, then we have the molecules, thereafter you can say cells, then group of cells, and all these variables makes an organism which has its own internal environment. Therefore, environment can be internal as we have inside our body, which maintains our body temperature, and external at another level. In the next level of hierarchy, we have the population, meaning group of organisms of same type living in an area. Then we have the community, meaning different types of population living in an area like this, and like this. After this, at the next level, we have the ecosystem, denoting the relationship of community and its surroundings, that is non-living surrounding or abiotic components of the environment. At much higher level, we have the entire living sphere of the earth, meaning the biosphere. So you can notice biosphere would contain all types of ecosystem. So with this background, let us come to the second point, that is what are the types of environment. Depending upon the human intervention in nature, the environment may be classified into natural environment like this, and man-modified environment like this, and then the man-made environment like this. Now let us see what are the different components of the environment. The understanding of the components of the environment also helps us in the understanding of the ecosystem. So we can classify the components into two broader groups. The first is the physical non-living component, I mean the abiotic component, and the second is the biotic component. Kindly pause the video and see the table. In the separate video on ecosystem, we will understand each component in detail. Now, since we have understood various aspects of environment, therefore we can easily understand the meaning of environmental geography. The term environmental geography was first probably coined by these two persons. And one should note that it is not geography of environment. It is named as environmental geography because of its strong association, or we can say inclination, towards the human-environment relationship. The environmental geography also deals with the processes and interactions that take place between and among different components of the environment. And that is with a special focus on technologically advanced human being as the major agent of change in the environment, especially the present Anthropocene times. I mean, environmental geography not only deals with the major problems of environment like ozone depletion, global warming, sea level rise, deforestation. For this, you can watch my video on environmental problems in polar region, tropical region, sea level rise, and many more. So the scope of environmental geography is extremely, you can say, broad like this. Just pause and ponder over. Let us understand the basic concepts in environmental geography. This is the list, and all concepts are directly and indirectly linked with each other. Let us proceed from first concept, which comprehends many other concepts, that is the ecosystem. In scale section, we have discussed the term ecosystem denotes the relationship of community with its non-living surroundings. This translates term is composed of two words, eco and system. The term eco denotes the habitat or surrounding in which we live, and the system means a group of things or parts that work together. Like we have computer, which is sometimes described as the system since it is composed of many components like transistors, hard disk, CPU, RAM, all of them work together to perform a common task. Similarly, in nature, which is more complex, so we use the term ecosystem. This diagram is showing the simple structure of an ecosystem in which you can observe that there are abiotic players like sun, and biotic players like producers plant, and consumers like herbivores and carnivores, and then decomposers at bottom. And all these are linked with the flow of energy and cycling of nutrients, which makes the sustenance possible. Next, we have the homeostatic mechanism. The term homeo means the same and the status means the standing still. So it denotes the equilibrium situation in nature. The ecologists believe that this ecosystem regulates in itself, or it is a self-regulating mechanism with the help of feedback mechanism like positive feedback or the negative feedback. Let us take an example of an hypothetical simple ecosystem in which there are only three players. One grasses, meaning primary producers, and second deer, and the third one tiger. Suppose tigers eat deer and deer eat grasses. Imagine if some tigers from another territory migrate to this selected ecosystem, then the population of deers will decrease because of the hunting by the tigers. Consequently, with less deers, the population of grass will decrease in turn. With less and less deers, on the other hand, the population of tiger either will decrease or some of them may migrate to another ecosystem. This is called negative feedback, which suppresses the change. On the other hand, with the decrease in tigers' population and the, you can say, increase in quantity of grasses, the population of deer will naturally again increase to its optimum level. That is an example of positive feedback which amplifies the change. So ecologists, they perceive that positive and negative feedback together maintain this homeostatic mechanism. In other way, all this exercise shows there is a reciprocal relationship in the environment, meaning if there is any change in one of the component of the environment or stimulus, there will be something in return or change in another component of the environment. So I mean, environment is quite responsive in natural world. We can understand this with another example, like in case of man-made environments such as megacities around the world. So we have created microclimatic conditions in the megacities by consuming energy resources such as heat islands. That is the negative feedback for us since it has negative consequences on the human health. Therefore, this will represent a kind of reciprocal relationship. I hope the idea is now clear to you. Let us move to another major concept in environmental geography, that is the processes in the environment and cyclic nature of the environment, which is governed by this law. In this table, it is apparent in natural world there are two sets of processes. That is number one, endogenic process, which includes diastrophism and volcanism, and the exogenic processes, which includes all these sets of processes. More simply, the endogenic processes create different types of relief features on the surface of the earth, like this evolution of the Himalayas. I have made a separate video on this, kindly watch, and or you can find the link below. The second major process is the exogenic process, they are continuously involved in the lowering of the elevation, I mean denudation. Therefore, interaction between exogenic process and the endogenic process leads to cyclic evolution of the landscape. That is why you can say that we have concept of like geological cycle in nature, which includes several subcycles such as rock cycle like this one, and geotectonic cycles, meaning regular creation of new oceanic crust in mid-oceanic region and the destruction of the same in the subduction zone. In this way, the area of the earth remains constant. Likewise, we have the biogeochemical cycles in nature such as the hydrological cycle, nitrogen cycle and the phosphorus cycle. This cyclic concept is central to the theme of environmental geography, and that was first introduced by Scottish geologist James Hutton. He gave these two famous statements. Now, the next major concept is the ecological stability, which depends on the ecosystem diversity and complexity. I mean, if the ecosystem is remarkably diverse and complex, its resilience and resistance to change will be higher and higher. The ecosystem resilience denotes the ability of ecosystem to recover after any kind of disturbance in the system, and the ecosystem resistance shows the ability of the ecosystem to remain stable in case of any kind of, you can say, disaster or attack by insect community. You can also understand this concept in case of simple ecosystem such as monoculture like cotton cultivation that may change drastically if there is any sharp change in, you can say, temperature conditions, or there is a spread or attack of insects on the cotton ecosystem or in the region where this one type of crop is only grown. Therefore, it is rightly said that the ecological stability depends on the ecosystem diversity and, you can say, complexity. The next major concept in environmental geography is the variation in species. The spatio-temporal variation in species in environmental geography is attributed to the genetic differences in the species, I mean genotypic variations, and the phenotypic variations, which denotes the effect of environment on the organism's appearance or development, or you can also say the behavior of the, you can say, organism. So the genotypic variations are related to the biological concepts like, you can say, genetic recombination, mutation is very important, then the crossing over. And the phenotypic variation is related to the environment in which the organism lives. Like sometimes people interpret the variation in the skin color with reference to the change in climatic conditions or temperatures around the world. Now come to the last major concept in environmental geography, that is the nature of human interaction with the environment, which influences the stability and you can say instability of the ecological system. For example, if we see the historical progression of the, you can say, human beings, we find that we moved from hunting and gathering from forest to hunting and gathering in modern day malls. I mean discounts and, you can say, offers by the, you can say, shop owners. So this historical progressions from the hunting and gathering, from farming to industrial revolution, and then industrial revolution to the development of mega cities and urbanization, all have, you can say, profound influence on the consumption of resources around the world, and which in turn has influenced the environment. It has created a lot of environmental issues such as the rise in sea level. So for this you can also watch my video on the sea level rise. Likewise, Amazon deforestation, global warming, sea level change, as we have discussed. For all these kinds of environmental problems, you can also watch my more videos on these problems, especially associated with the polar regions and the tropical region. So thanks for listening and watching. Kindly do subscribe my channel and like the video. We'll meet you in the next video.